Ask and you shall receive. Another thing about that too is I think the reason I wrote that isn't that it's not a biblical quote or something, is it? Like ask and you shall receive.
Well, I don't know.
I feel like maybe there's some kind of Bible quote that God is like, ask and you shall receive or something.
Yeah.
But maybe it's just like some thing, like a joke where some character in a show or something's like happens to have the thing that person just asked about and ask and you shall receive.
Well, I don't know about that. I think it's more of a, whether it's in the Bible or not, I think it's like a spiritual type of wording talking about the universe and magnetism and
one thing that is in the Bible that probably nobody talks about that I've heard from a few places. I've never actually read the Bible, but I've seen enough of the Bible and people talking about it to know quite a bit about it. But one thing that is funny and sneaky that it seems people who aren't biblical, is that the word? Religious, who follow it,
yeah.
look at the Bible very differently, to the point where the I don't want to say like the silly parts, but the parts that don't, there's nothing you can really carry forward into life from. It's just like belief systems. If you look at the parts that actually have good things that you can carry into life from, there's some hilarious things in there regarding like the ask and you shall receive. It's like if you alter your state of being to be happy or to have what you want, that's what you'll get. And like it says that directly in the Bible, not those exact words, but it says that repeatedly in all sorts of different ways, and it's a lesson all over the place, particularly in like the best parts of the Bible, not the crap parts where like just people, the end of the world and all this nonsense, but like the parts where there's stuff about like how to live and what life, how life operates. when the Bible or any spiritual practice talks about it, it's basically like, we'll just learn how to change the way you are, and then the whole world and everything around you will shift to match that. And like we talk about morphic resonance or quantum field theory or whatever the modern sciencey terms are being thrown around, it's like consciousness and like anything, it's all pointing to the same thing. And it says it right in the Bible that just how quantum physics works. The Buddha spells it out, like it's everywhere. And the ask and you shall receive part is like, if your if your state of being becomes something, you cannot do a more genuinely not wholesome, but like wholesome, I guess, form of asking than to be exactly that. It's almost like the law of attraction kind of things, powered now, all this other stuff, like there's like the surface layer of it, but then there's the actuality of like energy, and then there's the reality of state of being that generates energy and makes energy even a thing, and like all the layers to all of this, like me bundling up all of my energy and giving it to this thing. You could not define worship, like pure worship, better than that, than me saying, like putting all of my energy into something, all of my attention, all of my power is being given to this thing. Like all the energy is bundling up and it creates this pocket that is me, and all of my attention and everything is going into this thing. All of it. Like my entire life is just like this. That's the purest form of worship. And that is, you can almost say it's what marketing is all about in a way, of like without knowing it, the media will abuse exactly that, where it's like, if you can perpetuate on every level that this person is has more grievances than that person, and that person has more power over these people, and they're oppressors and they're victims, and they're like, you just point to all these different groups all like moving together, and you say that some of them are one thing and doing things to another and all this other stuff, and it's just like you perpetuate the idea that there's this big mess. Everybody has this pocket of energy that they're then going to give to either, poor these people, and they're the bad people that have done things to people, and this and all that all over. And that is called worship. Like, by definition, by functionality, like what is happening is worship. And that's how a media can thrive so much off of negative views of like whatever it is, and why an article that talks about how she was beaten by her husband and and this person, they got in a car accident, and they got robbed, like all that stuff. What's happening there is the drifting of energy to something that is a void. It's completely worthless on its own, but it pulls any attachment in that a person has that to go sit in there, and then all that person's attachment will go to this thing to be like, that addiction is there because the person has no idea what's going on with them. There's a thing, it's a void. I have a void in me, fill it with that thing, and now you're worshipping that because it's a void and it's pulling your whatever energy you had in. So now that energy isn't with you. You're now a void, and you have filled what would be a void of just negativeness, like by mechanical factor, like that is a negative pocket. It's a void. So you're putting your energy, that bundle that you would put up, you plopped it in there so that you can be empty because you're giving all your energy to that. So now you're a void and you're attached to that because that's where your energy is. That is pure worship. And that is the ask and you shall receive. Like you create your state of being. Your state of being is a void. There's a void. Plunk.
Yeah.